Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so for the last review of the month, I'm going to be looking at Judge Dredd I Am the Law starter set. It's a good starter set, I do like it. But I'm a bit mixed about this review because I like to come through these reviews as an outsider looking in, not just someone who's played the game or even been interested in the lore. But I do think that people who are interested in the lore or the IP, that should also be commented on as well. So when I was thinking about doing this, I tended to find issues with when people were, you know, just coming in straight away. We don't have any interest or don't know about Judge Dredd, and are just looking at a war game, compared to looking at it through an eyes of a fan of Judge Dredd. And I am a fan of Judge Dredd, 2000 AD especially, because I like some of the other stories that aren't just about him. Now, I've got to say, this is what makes this review slightly harder, because it's good. It's a good game. But let's continue. £62, so it's actually not badly priced. From what it looks like, 62 quid is the cheapest starter set. Just a heads up, unless you get from Warlord Games, you do not get this model. Okay, this is exclusive to Warlord Games. I do like the artwork, by the way. This is a fantastic piece of artwork. Picture of Judge Dredd. It's really cool, and it having the cold comic strips in the background as well really does make it pop and stand out, showing you that this game is for Judge Dredd fans, and it really, really is. And so, first things first, this is what you get in the box. You get some tokens, you get your miniatures, you get your cards, scenery, and transfers. The full rulebook, by the way. This is the big fat rulebook, which is brilliant. Now, and the dice. Now, this is when there's a difference between someone coming in without the knowledge of Judge Dredd and with the knowledge of Judge Dredd. There is a very small minutes count. It's only 10 minis, which kind of feels bad to me. I think they could have done a few more gang members, another street judge. It would have been a little bit more worth your money, in my opinion. But I'm also aware these companies like World Games and Mantic, when they do third-party games, they do have to pay an IP license as well. So that tends to up the price. And so I do think the model comes a little bit low, but what you get in the box is very good, especially these dice. I've got to talk about these dice in a minute. And now, this is what I mean between someone coming in without the knowledge of Judge Dredd and coming in with the knowledge of Judge Dredd. See, you get your 8 gang members, you do, and there you go, and you get your 2 street judges. If I didn't know anything about Judge Dredd, I would say, well, this looks completely one-sided. And it does look one-sided. It looks like the gangers are gonna are gonna win easy. It's a very unbalanced. It looks very unbalanced. It's 4 against 1 basically, or 8 against 2. However, coming in with a knowledge of Judge Dredd, it looks slightly unbalanced because of the 2 street judges. Street judges are absolute badasses. And so when I saw this, it's like, okay, 2 street judges versus this lot. Yeah, it's going to be pretty well balanced, but slightly in the favour of the judges. Or if you get it with this one, do not use Judge Dredd, because that completely destroys the balance. No end. He is a powerhouse within the rule set. And again, it makes sense. He's Judge Dredd. Of course, he is a powerhouse. Now, even though it's got a small model count, one thing I've got to say is not one model is repeated. You have 10 different models, which is brilliant in my opinion. I think it's great that you're not going to get, 4 different gangers repeated. I know they're not called gangers. But you have 8 different ones. The 2 judges are completely different. You have a female and a male. And the other thing I've got to say about this as well, which kind of helps in its favour for people starting into wargaming, These miniatures aren't very difficult to paint. They're very quick and easy to paint. I got through both of these within a day, and that's with my bad painting. And the other thing is, if we just bring this up here, you see here, that is actually sculpted in, but not so it pops out. There's a nice carved line there where you can see where the trim begins and ends. And of course, it is Warlord Games, so they don't make the best looking miniatures. I'm not saying they make bad looking miniatures, they don't make the best looking. But this game is designed to get you into the game very quickly, have everything painted up very quickly. So when you get to playing, it's going to start very fast. You're not going to waste too much time painting and building. Now, this isn't going to affect the final score because this is a personal grievance of my own. So this is just me and my opinion. 7 of these are single mold miniatures. And you guys know me, I'm not a fan. So, yeah, that was kind of something I didn't like, but well. And as the back of the miniatures, again, the detail's really nice. So let's bring up the judges again, because I love the judges so much. This is what makes it good. Yeah, well, but like I said, they're not the best sculpted miniatures, because they're not. They are exactly what they should look like at the same time. They look like the judges from Judge Dredd. They look like the gang members from Judge Dredd. They're exactly what they're meant to look like. They're near perfect replicas of what they need to be. Which is brilliant. It's a good reason to be in it. This is why, like I said, if you're getting into wargaming, you might say, well, I didn't look very good. Or, I've seen better models, which is fine. It's an absolute adequate thing to say. But if you're a fan of Judge Dredd, you're going to say, yep, that's the lawgiver. That's definitely Judge. That's how a judge looks. That's how his uniforms look. The shoulder pads are brilliant. There's a difference between the male one and this female one, which actually isn't that much. This just means she's a younger judge. And, this nightstick, which I forgot the name of, yeah, it's exactly what a judge looks like in Judge Dredd. It's nothing. And then we go down to the gangers. Again, actually, let's look at their fronts. And, yeah, these are what gang members look like in Judge Dredd. They wear bright colours. They wear, this dystopian-looking, futuristic clothing. They look like characters from Judge Dredd. They look exactly how they should look. And again, I don't have any issues with that. You get your playmat, and this is some scenery stuff, which is cool. And then you get the reverse side of a playmat. And there you go. So that's what you basically get. But I want to quickly talk about the rulebook. The rulebook, let's go to the page of the rulebook here, is by far one of my favourite rulebooks. This game is designed for Judge Dredd fans. Through and through. Judge Dredd is simply OP without his lore master. He is just so tough. You've got to literally subdue or incapacitate him for him to get taken off the table. You can't stun him. So he is an absolute badass. He's exactly what you would expect from a Judge Dredd game. He's Judge Dredd. I know it sounds weird. And also, the game is designed to be played very quickly. And this is where these dice come in. These are combat dice. And rather than having to work out maths or numbers, it literally tells you hit, miss, etc. what you need. And that's what makes it really cool. And just doing that is fantastic. This whole game is about speed. It's about playing a game quickly. It's for people who are grown up, who are adults, who like playing war games, but don't have a lot of time to play them. You can knock out a game in about half an hour, and especially with this one, you can 45 minutes, and you're kind of stretching the game out. It has the unit by unit activation, so judge moves, gang members move, judge moves, and the gang members can be split up into 2 squads. And it's just a really cool game to play. And the other thing I like, even though there are a lot less judges, and judges are really powerful anyway in the game, it means the judges have to be far more tactical, because they can be easily overwhelmed if they don't play right. And the cards have all the rules you need on them. So the judge rules, the gang member rules. So you have the rules at hand, so you're not having to flip through the rulebook. And the rulebook, like I said, is one of my favourites. There's loads of lore in it, some new stuff that you might not know if you're a Judge Dredd fan, written for the rulebook. But there's lots of comic strips in there, lots of artwork from the comics. This is a fan letter. They knew what they were dealing with when they did it. The designers, Andy Chambers and Gav Thorpe, both knew exactly what they were doing. It's also partly written by John Wagner, one of the original creators of Judge Dredd. This book and game is a fan letter to Judge Dredd, and I think it's brilliant for doing that. It's a nice, quick game. You can play it quickly. You can build up your forces. Oh yeah, and just so you know, all the data sheets are in the rulebook, so you don't even have to download or buy anything. Everything you need is in that book. It's great. I think it's fantastic. It's exactly how a rulebook should be, in my opinion. It's just well done, well laid out. Everything is so easily get to when you need it. It's simple to a point that it's not, patronizing, but it's nicely laid out and makes everything very clear on how the rules work. And it's got some scenarios in there as well, and some, missions and everything else. Now, when it comes to the score, like I said, it's kind of difficult. Now, positives. It's a love letter to Judge Dredd. It really is. It's a great Judge Dredd game. I cannot emphasize that enough. The models look alright. They fit the comic. They're exactly what they need to be. The terrain is cardboard, so it's easy to take part and to put away. And having the cards and the rules and all the data sheets you need to inspire you to play or get more models is all there. However, there were cons. And the price is a bit high for only 10 miniatures, in my opinion. It could have done better with a higher miniature count. And, no, actually, that's basically it. And if you don't know Judge Dredd, you can kind of be sort of, how can I put it, thinking that it's unbalanced. Like I said, this is a game for Judge Dredd fans and not really anyone else. But it's a great game. It's fantastic. It's fun to play. Give it a go. And I've got to give it about 8 out of 10. I mean, it really is just the price seems a bit high for it. And for people who don't know Judge Dredd and just get into wargaming, might think it's a little bit unbalanced. It might think there's a lot more gang members there on street judges. And that's fine. Fans of Judge Dredd will say, yeah, it kind of seems a bit more overpowered in the judge's side, but not by much. It's well balanced, and it's just a fun game. It's definitely worth getting, especially if you're a Judge Dredd fan. Thank you very much for watching. I am Raziel, and just to reiterate one last time, in case you forgot, this model is only available on Warlord Games. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. There is a link to Wayland Games down below if you wish to save money on this game. It's like 50 quid. That's how much I got it for. Yeah, I go through Wayland Games. I'm not gonna have an affiliate link and not use them. That just sounds stupid. Yeah, so up to 20% off on your miniatures and free delivery after £20. There's Forbidden Planet for comics, merchandise. If you like Batman or you do like Judge Dredd, go there for your comics because they have loads in, especially the old classic stories, which are great. And there is my merchandise, stickers, comics, etc. Then there is my comics as well. If you want to see Little Red Riding Hood go ham on some sort of Lovecraftian cyborg werewolves. Skyforge, good friend of mine. Let's keep getting up that Google algorithm. And finally, Patreon, because there's